G'day everybody, hopefully this time it's working. I am planning on doing an assertive cargo ship stream because I haven't done one in quite a long while. And I've been thinking about doing it recently because I've started doing a few minor changes, making the drones work better. There have been a bunch of things that Lucas has done to Rival AI to make this all work better than it was. And I just keep thinking of more things I want to do, like the recent post I did on YouTube where I've thought about adding custom thrusters to the ships. Now, that idea has developed a little bit since that post. The current plan, and Gruzob has actually potentially very much helped with this, is to add an extra mod dependency for assertive cargo ships. So that mod would be adding thrusters that are variants on the vanilla that are just slightly better. Not a lot better, just slightly better. But these would be a block that you cannot build, so they would not show up in your G menu. And they would be a modded block that would require a component that you cannot manufacture. And the component would be the first thing needed to place the block. So this would prevent people from using blueprints and projectors to get around the ability. So the only way to get these thrusters would be to go and attack assertive ships. And I really like that idea because it drives you to do something. It drives you to explore. It drives you to actually go in and find out if that base you've seen has one of those thrusters. If that ship you're seeing flying overhead, you're like, maybe this is one of the lucky ones. Maybe this is one of the ones I can go in and I can get myself one of those better thrusters. And then you have to crane that thruster off the wreck and into your own build. Which is kind of cool, I think. And I think it's the sort of thing that could dramatically change the way that you play Space Engineers and try and bring in some of the really cool gameplay elements that the Escape from Mars scenario has. Because I think most people who've played that scenario would agree with me, one of the best parts about it is that you value the blocks you find. There's just something special. And I believe Tex is waxing lyrical in chat right now. There once was a streamer called Splitsy. He tried to stream but could not speak. The Windows update stole his loot. Watch this streamer reboot. Soon will the reboot come and give us streamer tones dulcet and strong. Soon the reboot will come and let us stream all day. The Drop Bears tried to steal his mic, but Splitsy gave them an awful fight. And Windows has an update queued. See that streamer reboot. Soon will the reboot come and give us streamer tones dulcet and strong. Soon will the reboot come and let us stream all day. I am not singing it. That's really well done, Tex. Nice one. So you might be wondering why I'm here staring at a cockroach. It's because I couldn't be bothered finding out what the command was for increasing my threat score, so I just paste one of these in whenever I need a high threat score, so that I can spawn stuff. Because I wanted to check a couple of things. The first thing being, do I have any broken bases? I'm pretty sure all of my bases are functional now. There were a couple that I'd messed up and I hadn't actually put the remote control block on them. And so they weren't spawning any drones. And I worry that one of those might have been the base that I actually got in Survival Impossible. So yeah, let's start with this one. Show me how to start spawn planetary installation. Oh, no! Yeah. Also, should note, I just came off night shift. This is going to be a bit of a chiller stream. I'm going to try not to rush myself so that I can hopefully do a few more useful things. And actually use you guys to error check me. Yeah, I hope I'll find the time to get back into do some recording in Survival Impossible soon. I've been having to spend quite a bit of time recording in recording for Escape from Purgatory, so I haven't really had the time to do much with. There we go. We got drones coming in, Mayfly and Mosquito. Haven't really had much time to think about Survival Impossible. That's why I expected to be sometime in February before I did anything on it. But it is now February, so I should probably do something soon. Okay, so that base is working because it is spawning a Mayfly now. What happens if I damage it? Nothing. You know what? A quick poll for you guys in chat. I'm just gonna open my chat as a separate window because I don't have it. How many people are here at the moment? All right, we got enough people, I reckon, for a decent poll. With the smallest bases, I for a long time have had them so that if you get near to them, they will spawn drones and attack you. Should I make it so that it's only when you attack the lowest tier bases they'll attack you back? And until you do that, they won't do anything to you. So you know that you just have to stay out of gun range. Should the easiest bases only attack if you attack first? Yep. Nope. Bit of both. Just for that rare... Oh. Can't write that many letters. I'm going to turn off the meat shield votes this time. Let's give you guys a few minutes to do this. Oh, Tex, that was awesome. Okay. That's a fairly strong indication very early on that more people prefer it either to be yes or, but definitely not. There's only one person who said they don't want the bases to only attack if you attack first. Yeah. The drones will destroy their own base if you're near it. Because they miss. That's half the fun. Remember the episode of Survival of Escape Unlikely where Capac and I were inside the base and getting shot up by the drones? That was ridiculously terrifying and hilarious. Do you want Assertive to be oppressive early on, or do you want them to just ignore people encroaching on the territory? I want people to engage with the bases more. And I want people to be able to engage with them more in the early game. Right now, if you're not really well prepared, you die. The assertive ships have no trouble taking down a Reaver. I feel like I've overcorrected on the difficulty curve, and I haven't done what I intended to do, which was make a mod that works from the very early game all the way through. So I was thinking of getting rid of the player near trigger, which is the one where your proximity triggers it, and just have a damage spawn. So if you get shot at by their guns, that's fine, but if you shoot back, then they'll trigger a drone spawn. But it sounds like more people are leaning towards both, and I reckon if I did a bit of both, that would also probably somewhat satisfy the yep people. Oh, TFE, but the smaller Reavers aren't the only ones that I've seen Assert take down. I've seen the assertive cargo ships with their drones take down the big Reavers. Yeah, let's have a look at the list of bases we got. Have I got that open? That's the spawn groups drones, spawn groups cargo ships. No. Data. Spawn groups installations Atmo. Might just leave chat up here so that I can follow both on the one screen. Yeah, Calibre. The Red Battery Liberation Fund. No Karma's Evil Twin. I can't do patrolling drones for a variety of reasons. But if we have a look at the bases we got research base, research base, research base, research base, watcher base. Maybe the research bases are the ones, like the low-level research bases are the ones that will be passive to you based on a proximity check. And then the watcher bases, which are more military-esque, and the observation outpost, which is again more military. And then these ones, the bigger ones, the medium ones, they'll always do ranged attacks. Yeah, Joe Berian, this is a mod I made. I hope you have a quiet shift, Tex. Yeah, so if I jump into the other save, I can actually look at these things. Just because it's possible for one drone to follow you in single player does not mean it's a good idea to do that with a mod that spawns lots of drones. Yeah, I kind of agree that Master Tin Man. I like the idea of having the mod so that people can choose to engage in the early stages, but in the later stages of the game, the mod doesn't give you a choice. So in the early game, you can be a little bit more aggressive, you can be a little bit more cheeky, you'll get away with it for a bit, but after a time, they'll be like, no, you're now a bug I have to try and squash. The drone army from Survival maybe completely smashes your PC. Totally smashes it. So, for example, these little bases, which are meant to be more of a little research facility as opposed to a military one. Yes, they've got the turrets on them, but if we go inside, they've got a kitchen, they've got a lab, that sort of thing. So they're sort of set up, they've even got an outhouse. They're sort of set up to be a bit more corporate. Whereas this one, it is pretty much just a control center. Like, it's basic military. So I was thinking maybe I need to add an extra tier and a new behavior profile. So these research bases, they'll be passive until you attack. But these ones won't be. Ragnarok, yeah, I heard you the first time. The mod already reacts to your standings with assert. So the way the standing system works in the assertive mod is it drops. So you when you start the game, you start with a standing of -500, I think. And if you start doing nasty things like shooting down assertive drones, shooting down the cargo ships, you'll slowly drop further. And once you drop below negative 1250, then these bases will start activating their war mode behavior. until they get upset with you enough, they won't initiate war mode ever. So the war mode for these bases is where they increase their sensitivity to where you are located, and will send drones out to you even if you are 14 kilometers away from them. So that's the way I like to use the faction standing for this. What I do instead with what I'm thinking of doing instead with these bases and making them a little more passive is using threat score. So when your threat score is low, you'll get these passive ones. When it gets a little bit higher, these ones get added in. And when it gets higher still, more and more of these other facilities get added in. And as to this mod being on Xbox, very, very unlikely. As I understand it, the mods that are able to run on Xbox are non-scripted mods. So that's a separate concept to in-game scripts. It's mods that don't do anything active, I guess. They're kind of... they're like XML mods. So they just change a few data values here and there. Or have models. I think that's all they can handle. Yeah, dumb mod sizing, I guess you could call it. And I would be very, very surprised if Space Engineers ever hits a PlayStation console. At all. Ever. The reason it got on Xbox is because Xboxes are basically a Windows PC anyway. But maybe if I'm going to do this thing, I need to come up with another base. Vash, I haven't heard anything about PlayStation from any reliable source, but I will admit I haven't read Marek's last couple of blogs in any detail. It's personal, Mindblower, the standing, faction standing. Maybe I should try and make another base today. And then we can rewrite the code for bases. And then towards the end of this stream I can update the cargo ships. So they've got the NPC only increased thrust capabilities, so fewer of them will crash. Yeah. Dragnon, rovers are a definite no-no. Never. Lucas has already said no, he is never going to try and make rover-based attacks. Oh yeah, I could make a little, like... I could make a thing with a radar dish. I haven't made a little radar station. Could set it up... Could set one of them up to look like a... like a radio telescope, and the other one... and then modify it to make it look more military, so it's like a radar station. Thanks, Lachlan. I'm not going to do many bigger bases. These are the two biggest bases in the Assertive mod at the moment. And I'm pretty happy with both of them, to be honest. They came together reasonably quickly. They're both kind of drone facilities. These are sort of medium-sized bases. You need to keep in mind that some of the people playing with this mod are not going to have really high NPCs, so I don't want to smash them with massive bases. Well, that's an interesting idea, Ragnar. I could have some passive mid-level bases that are passive, but if you attack them, really smack you. So I could have them spawn like multiple sets of drones or something. Yeah. Yeah. That's quite a cool way of doing it, actually. Because then I can mix, then it can be a mixed thing the whole way through the progression through the mod. Right, so. Radar, antennae facility. I should really make a new save because there are a lot of grids here. Oh, it's fine for now. Okie dokie. So I need to have a little living quarters. Like all of these things, they need to be on some sort of raised platform. The reason all of these bases are on raised platforms, and it does quite significantly limit the style you can get away with, is because of the spawning mechanics. If we want to be able to see bases with some degree of frequency and not only on ice lakes, Lucas had to allow the bases to spawn on slightly uneven ground. And if they're on stilts, that means they can tolerate even more uneven ground without looking weird. Yeah, Reveille, Lucas's new behavior that allows you to stop people jetpacking towards your ships or bases, I think is a good one. I just haven't figured out how I'd like to apply it to the Assertive mod yet. No, Vash, the reason, as I understand it, that Space Engineers won't come to PlayStation is that it would require a complete rewrite, and there isn't enough of a market to justify them doing that. Airbus, the threat score is based off the number of blocks you have of various types, the number of things like that. I base the threats around some of the builds that Capac and I made in Survival Unlikely. So the cockroach is my sort of... what's the term I want to use? It's my yardstick for this is a big bad, this is a high level of threat, and its threat score is something like 800 on its own. Yeah, air-spawned bases would be bad. Air-spawned bases would collapse and cause a whole lot of physics-related performance problems, I suspect. Oh no, how am I going to make the antenna dish look good without using too many subgrids? A subgrid should be okay on a station, surely. Yeah, high PCU does usually equate to high threat, but not always. Because Lucas has some stuff that's more gameplay based, like nanite build and repair, nanobot build and repair, whatever it is. Its threat score is really high, but its PCU is not particularly. How will I want to do this? Sometimes... Hey, TFE, have you got any subgrids on any of your stuff that you've spawned in your MES mods? Just thinking... It doesn't need to move, but the reason I'm thinking subgrid is because otherwise it sits like that. Or like that. So I'm thinking just on a hinge is what I'm going to do, rather than on a rotor and a hinge. What, you're thinking I should do something like this? Oh, hang on. Not that way. Oh no, it does have to be that way. Do this like a massive... like a telecommunications tower. I think that might be a little oversized. Yeah, Kalimvor, angled blocks don't help me angle the dish. And I'm trying to angle the... I'd like to angle the dish. Because, you know, it looks better. Let's just have a look at what this can do. Well, help if I gave it a battery, eh? Because that looks much more interesting. Yeah, sadly it's only large grid, the antenna dish. But even still, I'd still run into the problems of having to use subgrids and convert to small grid and stuff. Let's start this a bit differently. I feel like this base is going to take a little bit of futzing around to try and get a look that works. If I start with just a post, then go to my hinge, and then put my antenna on top, I can just use gravity. Because I forgot to give it power. Again. I reckon around there is going to be good. No, the economy bases don't have any subgrids, and I'm not sure that the spawning system is even the same, given that the stuff for MES is stuff Lucas wrote himself. Oh, hang on. That's right, I can do this now. Start at the dish, I'll hopefully end up with a bit of a clearer idea of how to design the rest of this thing. Yeah, I didn't really like the look of it being big and on a tower dragged on. Looked a bit funny. So what I was thinking was if I do a little armor box like this, and then we just pretend like it's on a rotor by using sci-fi interior walls underneath. Like this. then it'll kind of give the impression that this can spin on that surface, which could be interesting. Because obviously, if I were making this as a proper build, I would put a rotor under the center and have this whole thing be able to spin. Whoops, smacked my microphone. Plus, this will let me get away with something like this. Put some lights around the base of it. Now, in my experience, looking at structures that have big, like, dishes like this on it, they tend to be pretty boxy. How can I make a boxy but interesting? Just reading chat, catching up. Hey, Climb. How's it going, man? Oh yeah, I could make an octagonal building. I haven't really got anything like that. That could be something fun. Yeah, let's try that. Let's go that. Nope. What do I want? I want this shape. Is that gonna be? That's gonna be kind of. Don't know that I've got enough blocks across to do this like I was thinking. So would this way be better? Oh yeah, this is actually right. So that'll give me, yeah, 2 on that side, 2 on each side. 3 on the short face, 2 on the long. You know what I mean? 3 on the long face, 2 on the short face. Yes, it would look better if it's offset, but no, I'm not going to offset the dish piece from the rest of it. And the reason for that is I don't want to add extra subgrids if I don't have to. I would much rather this be just one subgrid with the hinge. Yes, Dracoa, basically an octagon. I'm tired. I was at work last night. I think oops, that's not the block I want. I'm going to claim that as my reason for being extra dopey today. What am I doing? What are you doing, Splitsy? Ah. Well, one of the ways I'm going to make it look separated is by changing the color and changing the texture. So one thing I thought of doing was grabbing these retro future armor. Going ham with it on here. Codon, you can post that in Discord. I don't think you can, you'd have to post a link here, but just post the picture in Discord. I'm just cautious about showing random images on my stream because, you know, if they're someone's hard work and they've copyrighted them, then sort of, I don't know that that necessarily constitutes fair use in this context. I don't know. Photographers deserve a paycheck too, or that sort of thing. Like, I feel like some of that stuff gets taken advantage of. There we go. Oh, hold up. If I... Was this what was being meant by not having it dead center? What if I do this? And I elongate it on one... like, on two sides. Because then the dish isn't centered, and then hopefully it'll feel less part of the thing. Assertive parasols. Don't worry, I won't forget the red battery, Killenvor. Alright. Let's copy this and start futzing around with it in case I do something that breaks it. Okay, I think that looks okay at a distance. Adding some extra details with like the interior light piping and railings and such, I think could add some extra nice detail to this. Just to bring it together. Ragnarok, no, I won't have the dish moving. I don't want to have subgrids moving on my stations and such, because I'm just always hesitant to make moving parts on things like this because of largely because of the problems that subgrids moving can create. But I definitely would want to have the dish in different positions for the various types, so I can rotate this 90 degrees and have some of them with the dish facing toward us right now, that sort of thing. So, around the outside, what do I want to do? Maybe I'll go with... this. Oops. And then we've got some room for some windows, and then I can think about where I'll fill in the walls as well. Oh yeah, I'll definitely not put subgrids on the moving on the ships TFA, but having them on, yeah, I just try and limit them. I know how much I've tanked the performance of my own games by having lots and lots of subgrid based stuff, so I don't really want to do that to other people with my mods. It's so that turns it off. Well, that's the funny thing. If you manage to destroy the power source for this thing, the dish would just go clonk if I don't lock it, which actually could be fun. Maybe I should avoid locking it. Because at some point I might turn on symmetry mode, but that point is not right now. I'm about to start fiddling with stuff that will be asymmetrical. Yeah, I think that's an okay start for the build. There's no way up yet, T. Lewis. I'm thinking of putting some stairs or a ladder or something on this side so the railings make sense. Plus, I think just visually at a distance, this is one of the things that I've always felt about my Assertive cargo ships when I'm designing them. I'm like, they just have to look the part. On really close inspection, you can be like, what? Why is that up there? But most people won't get the close inspection without having a whole lot of bullet holes and damage to the thing. So it doesn't actually matter. So as long as it looks really good at this distance, then it's okay. It's just one of those little tricks I like to take advantage of. Right. Sure. Let's go with this one. Sliding door there. Catwalk that way. What about this? That should work. Yeah, it would be nice to have more rail options, but I'm still just happy that we have rail options, full stop. I tend not to lament the missing as much as I celebrate the existing when it comes to blocks in Space Engineers. Because when you've played thousands of hours when none of those blocks existed, it tends to be better for your own psychology if you're just happy that you've got some of them now, I think. I really like these extra half-slope blocks, because these are the sort of things that I love using. And I realise now that oh no, does that work? It does! You can walk through it. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. Do I have the missing piece for this though? Is it under this one? That'd be a resounding no. We do not have the other bit for this. Nuts. Oh. Well, that sucks. What am I going to do in these bits then? No, 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 no. Is there a piece I don't have on my thing? It's not in any of those. Not in any of those. Not any of those. It's this one! There we go. I am missing a piece on my board. Yoink. Do, 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 do. Yeah. See? Jackson, this is why I did this as a stream rather than doing it as me just futzing around while I'm tired. Because I would have ignored that and tried to fill it in with something else, and then you guys would have been like, Splitsy, why didn't you use this block that you actually have? Because I didn't notice it. Because I decided to be creative when I was tired. And it was a mistake. I'm not goose level tired, Dragnon, no. I'm not that bad. That was shocking. I think that merge block disaster on the goose in Survival Maybe, that was me after 7 night shifts in a row. I was where I'd probably slept no more than 4 hours each day because I struggled to sleep in the day. Yes, the goose is the truck, the one that I managed to break multiple times with somewhat hilarious consequences, which I then used merge blocks to fix and ended up messing up with the merge blocks multiple times. But no, this time I didn't do 7 night shifts. I have not. This time I am much better rested than then. I'm going to hinge lock this for now, but someone remind me to unlock it. I just want to lock it for now, just so when I lose power I don't drop it. Okay, dokely. Now, what do I want to do? I think some sides of this are going to need to be windows because that'll look interesting. Ooh, what if I do this? Blam blam, as Capac would say. Deliberately inset it. Yeah. I quite like that look. Oops, wrong way around. Oh yeah. Thank you. I said, yeah, he's tired. He's quoting Capac. Also, because I heard Capac rummaging around in the background. Man, I love these sci-fi interior wall blocks. They just, the style on them just fits so well with all of the backs of all of the furniture blocks. Like lockers and such. Yeah. I love it when a little build like this comes together fairly quickly. Now, this build, I probably should have a little bunking area because all of these bases are fairly isolated, so I always think of them as people getting stationed to them. So to do that, let's try and see if I can work this arrangement in and make it work, make it be functional. 2 bunks like that with, then what I need is a, nope, that one, that, too far, that. And then we can have a set of stairs here. And then what I was thinking was we can go, that's the wrong thing. Could go shower up the top and toilet down the bottom. The bathroom one. Something like that. Oh yeah, that's a fair point, Eisen. Half stairs might be a better look. Although, am I going to run into problems with the half stairs and what railings I want to use? Because I'd have to use one of these ended ones for the half stairs. And would it look weird having the railing beside the bed? Well, it's possible. Yeah, let's do it. 2 half stairs. Oh no, you can't get on the stairs if I put them that side. Let's put them the other side. Oh, no. Walked upstairs. Use a ladder. Tex is gone now. We can avoid the ladder topic. That's fair. You don't want to sleep next to a toilet after a bad burrito. Something I'm contemplating. Just, you know, getting sidetracked by details. How's that look? Do you guys reckon it looks better with the railings or better without? With? Without? With? Without? I'm leaning towards with, and I can then use it as a little bit of colour detail. Because I can make the railings a different colour to the rest of it. Because obviously it's not going to be all this light grey colour. Looks better, but useless. Agreed. Tanalord, I am making a new base for the Assertive mod and then integrating it and updating all of the scripting behind them. Ugh. Hold up. Now here's the real question. Does that look... Yeah, that looks weird. That looks real weird. But someone did just mention the shutter windows. Would these work? For the military one I can do these. Yeah. Hold up. Let's copy this. Let's put these on here so I don't forget. Hiccups. Yeah. Alright, so we got a little living space. I need a control area that looks all nice and proper decked out. Need a little living, like little eating area. But this would be a fairly minimal crew, maybe 3 people and some of them, or 3 or 4 people and they have to hot punk. Let's go that, and that. So then you can still easily walk through there. And then I want... Yeah, I might go full armory block in there. Oh yeah, don't worry about the way the shutters are placed. I will fix them when I do it. I just wanted to place them down there because I would forget, and if I end up building that base when I'm not streaming, then it'll be annoying. Hot bunking is probably not as bad an option if they never take the airtight suit off. Yeah, it's probably not quite as bad. What can I do? I probably want a bit of a lab area. So that's these blocks. Actually, I might do the control area first. I quite liked something that Capac and I did in the Survival Unlikely base, where we had these, then you put a transparent LCD on this side and you have a flipped mirror image that's just a big screen in front of them. How are you going to handle the fact that it's a living space with no airlock? These bases are not realistic. None of them have airlocks. It's too big a thing to include in little bases, so I just ignore it and just pretend like the door is an airlock. Yeah, it's just the reality of what you have to deal with in Space Engineers. I think the control seats are still the best option, even though they look like pilot seats. Yeah, Demos, often 2 doors back to back is too large. Let me get sidetracked for a moment. If you look at this base, I have occupied every single cube in here. If I had to add an extra bit, it would either the door would stick out on the outside, or you'd end up having to completely redesign the inside. So even with the offset doors, it'd look odd, and the offset doors would break the railings and break other design elements, and pretty much it is just so much easier to design interesting looking stuff without having to deal with the practicalities of an airlock. So I don't. Shamrock, I deliberately do not use mods in the Assertive builds. They are all vanilla, always. At least until I add the thruster bonus mod thing. Because I don't want these things to be reliant on anyone else's mods. Because then when they break, the mod breaks, and that sucks. And I don't want to have to deal with that. Let's go desk. Where? Thank you, Eisen. I was going to forget the remote. Where should I pop the remote? I have no idea what I'm meaning that to look like, but I think it looks interesting. Maybe it's like intended to be you could get in there and you can control stuff. I suppose I could put the remote like behind them as well, but I think it looks better without it. I've got more space in here than I thought. Lab time. Oh, where's the dispenser? Oh, maybe I'll just put a kitchen there. Ah, yeah, there we go. Prefer the dispenser for little bases like this. I think it looks more interesting. I wonder... how would it look like with... Does that look really weird? Just thinking it was like high storage where you would get a ladder or something. That doesn't look as weird as I thought it might. Actually, I could... Huh. No, I'm gonna leave that. I was thinking I could replace one of these blocks with a timer block, but I quite like just having it as is. And of course, the obligatory giant programmable block computer, which I should have on my hotbar somewhere. Oh well, not going to use wheels anytime soon, hopefully, so there. Yeah, Codon, I could hide the remote, but remember this is supposed to be an easy base. So I make decisions to deliberately make it more feasible for players in the early game to handle it. That's the idea anyway. It's not a programmable block, it's a gaming PC. Yeah, this is what the future calls a gaming laptop. They've gone ultra oversized for it. Yeah, no, I don't stay away from DLC. Keena's surprisingly okay with me having bases that spawn with all the DLC in it, because you can't build it yourself. But I'm not sure where I'd use the offset door in here. I actually chose the sliding door because I like its look on these sorts of builds. Yes, nice one, Codon. Laptop PC. Ooh. Ooh. I have an idea. Rats. Maybe I'll put it off this side. Yeah, this side works. My idea is hydrogen tank and hydrogen engine as a secondary power source. Yeah, on Fluffy Dave, you might be right. They might have finally released Star Citizen by the time that PC becomes real. 2077. How do I want to do this with an engine? Where is the engine hiding? Oh, it's in power production, isn't it? Yep. Yeah, what does the back end of that look like? It's just a cargo port. I don't know how to arrange this to make it look good. I'll just do something and then play with it and see what I can get that's I'm happy with. Nope. Nope. Not happy. Whoa, a base with a V10. Yeah. Hey, Groz. Yes, an ACS stream. Eisen did not finally break me. In fact, Groz, you're kind of to blame for this. Or to thank for this, depending on people's perspective. Since you're the one who's managed to make the thruster mod that I'm hopefully going to use to put special thrusters on. Yes, iZero. Flipsy is my stream backup channel. Because of the way that YouTube works, it is not a good idea for me to post fully unedited streams onto YouTube on my main channel. So I post it on a secondary channel for the people who wanted it there. And keep my main channel just to my core edited content. Basically, I wouldn't blame anyone if they didn't watch my streams because they don't have the time, and that means that they wouldn't have the time. That means that they wouldn't click on those ones, and so there's less click-through rate, which means YouTube recommends my content less, which means I get fewer views, which then snowballs and all goes bad. So instead of that, I just put them on YouTube on a second channel. I feel like this should be the other way around. That adds a nice bit of asymmetry to the base as well and gives me another couple of spots to stick turrets. Oh, roof access from the engine deck. Interesting idea. Yes. I don't know what to do about this block though. Sure, let's do that. Let's see how wonky that is. That actually works. Huh. And it doesn't look bad from a distance either. I'm on board with this. This is a good idea. Then, because of the way that attachment points work, I can stick my railings on like this. But just to make them actually stay stuck, I'm going to do that too. Thanks, Shadow CVL. Yeah, I could do a catwalk over the slope and then ladder down it, but I actually think this looks interesting and I kind of like it. No worries, Shadow. Hopefully you like the final event and a bunch of other guys that have started doing new MES-based mods will increase the number of NPCs available to all of us. No. I'm not going to do greater catwalk on there. I'm going to... be annoyed because these don't have attachment points. Nope. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Might have to use lights. Is there a way to make lightning a fun hazard to engineer around, or does it always break blocks, including lightning rods, which makes it both unrealistic and more annoying? My account, as far as I'm aware, no, there is not a way to make lightning fun. And thanks, Chill Knight Gamer. Keen totally dropped the ball on lightning. I don't normally, like, those of you who've been around my content for a while would know that I don't normally bag out Keen like so many other content creators tend to. But on the lightning thing, they done stuffed up. They made a bad gameplay decision. They should not have added the lightning in. It should not have been the default state of things for the weather mod. It is as bad as their old refinery-seeking meteors. Captain Patriot, I would argue it's not random enough, not that lightning is too random. Yeah, lightning should have just been a visual effect in the distance. Yeah, maybe running this down's better. No. Shadow CVL, the meteors absolutely targeted you back in the old days. They would come at you from the exact direction of the sun and would specifically target your valuable blocks. Or at least that's what I understood at the time. I remember reading breakdowns on it and people who'd actually spent time looking through the code and who felt that that was the case. But yeah, the lightning is not fun. The lightning is frustrating. Oh, yes, Mackle. Flipsy is the dark side of Splitsy. Or is he? Yes, the bark side of... Right. Anything else you guys can suggest I should put in this space? Or should I just leave the floor fairly open? I suppose what I could do, since I have opened up so much space, is do this. Bring that in a bit, and that opens up over here and closes up this bit a bit more. Could put a table in the middle there too. And then I just gotta light the roof and decide if I want to put an extra battery somewhere or if I'm just going to leave it with the hydrogen as is. Oh, speaking of hydrogen, that tank is 40% full. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Lights off. I think I might have static. Oh no, this is just 24-hour daylight. What should I call this base? I wonder what I... Like... Is this a... Deep space telemetry research base light. Chill Night Gamer, the organic is a hangover thing from when I think they might have been going down that road. The organic stuff that you can spawn is not anything that's useful for anything in vanilla at all. Some mods on PC use it though. The deep space telemetry thing was because of me watching too much Stargate over the years. This needs to go further. Same with this one. There we go. Interior covered now. What if I... This one. And black. So glad Capac realized this and then told me about it. The fact you can make cable-like stuff out of this is awesome. Thanks, Codine. That's a good point, my account. There is no such thing as too much Stargate. I have probably watched seasons 1 through... I think it was like 1 through 5. I reckon I've watched at least 12 times right the way through. Just because every time a new season came out on DVD, I would then rewatch from the start. So those ones were watched a lot. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with how this came together. It needs a paint job. But I reckon, since we've got an antenna... Oh... No? Do I need to... Eh. Oh, that's cool, Shadow. Do I think I'd ever do a giant spawning base? Maybe, but one of the reasons I don't tend to do a whole lot of bigger structures and bigger ships is that you get more bang for your buck out of spending more time making lots of variations on the little ones, because that's the stuff that people run into a lot of. If you've padded out that, and the effort you take to pad that out, it tends to be worth more than going for one big, amazing thing that people might occasionally or rarely run into. Of course I watched Farscape. Yes, I very much watched Farscape, Shamrock. I've watched that through at least a few times too. The really good thing for me when watching these series through for a second, third, or fourth time is I am terrible at remembering stuff like that, so I tend to be able to enjoy it like I'm watching it for the first time. No. Not Babylon 5, Eisen. Why did you have to bring that up? You know Babylon 5 is a sore point. Because I can't get it in Australia. The DVD set for Babylon 5 in Australia is the only way I've been able to find it with our region locking, and it was $500. None of the streaming platforms that are available in Australia will stream Babylon 5. Amazon Prime has it in the US, but not in Australia. So obviously some media company still has the rights to it and is unwilling to share. Which sucks. A lot. It makes me sad, because I think I might enjoy Babylon 5, but I'm not willing to spend $500 to find out if I do. And I'm not going to advertise on a stream bypassing those sorts of things. Also, I don't trust a lot of those VPN companies. Some of them seem dodgy as. Not strictly, Vash, actually. Stupid copyright laws make it not technically okay. But yeah. I don't want to have to pay for a service and pay for a VPN and do all that. It's just like, eh. I would much rather that someone just get the rights and have it available normally in Australia. Oh. Did you check iTunes? Ugh, Apple. Ugh. I have a particular dislike for Apple after working at an electronics retailer where Apple Australia refused to honour warranties if we were the one who presented it for our customers rather than the customers presenting to Apple directly, which was frustrating, to say the least. So yeah, 2 years working at a retailer and having to deal with that was not fun. Yeah, except Arthurian, such things are probably illegal in Australia because we have really good consumer protection laws. Which is why Steam now has refunds. For everyone, worldwide. Because our government fined them millions of dollars. Whoops, missed block. Uh-oh. Ah. Yeah, overspray. Is the yellow too much? Because I haven't really done it on the other bases, but maybe I should. Australia is a fiction to scare our children. Oh, dang it. Painting ladders is hard. That is the wrong color again. I don't know, what do you guys reckon? Do you think the yellowy orangey color is a bit much? Should I change it up? I do like that it's adding a little bit of extra detail and depth. Yeah, I was going to do the stairs and these railings as well, but it does make me think, how many of these other bases should I do the same detailing on to bring out the stairs and stuff? Make it a bit... Because like this, where I've used the railings as kind of a safety net, I think it could look good having the yellow for a bit of extra detail. Not sure about the yellow ladders. The reason for the yellow ladders is because to get the railings on the stairs, you have to paint the stairs, and so I think it looks more consistent if it's done that way. Nope. Why is my aim so bad? If anyone points out that I don't use a crosshair, not talking to you. Alright. I'm pretty happy with how that's worked out. I think the blue might be a bit much. I might need to go with... I got a darker grey on one of these somewhere. Maybe I should. Maybe I should have a sort of that colour, and then bits like this can get a bit of a darker colour to them, which I think looks better. Yes. Which means I could possibly do this. Nope, that does not look good. I think there was just too much blue on this. No, it's Cardon, it's not the not watching the block highlight. I'm just getting the timing way wrong because I'm slightly moving because of the way the jetpacks work. Ugh, I'm not happy with how this blue is working out on this. I might need to change up where I do the blue. Not happy with that either. It might be the yellow that's throwing me off here. I don't know, some of the interior wall blocks, where have I got them? Over here, in blue look alright. Because the blue I've got is quite a greyish blue. So yeah, I do agree that needs to be fairly greyish for the interior wall blocks in most uses. But yeah, for the most part, it needs to be something fairly muted. Yeah, it did look good before the yellow. I think with the yellow and blue, I'm going to need to come up with a way of getting some highlights in here that are blue that aren't too big. And I'm thinking an option might be to do something like this. Yeah, you could be right. It's the big. It could be the staircase that's adding too much yellow from this angle. So where have I got it? They're floating, aren't they? They are very floating. Let's try this. Yeah, Capyville. I knew about the Twitch watch party thing. Capac and I talked about doing it for something. I can't remember what. But yeah, it's the sort of thing that I think he'd be keen on. Is the lettering too weird having it stick out like that? Do I need to rotate those blocks? You be quiet, Tech. I kind of like having the lettering across there. But to make it work, I'm going to have to do things quite differently, so I don't know that I can make it work. Yeah, hang on. Let's test this now. Interesting. Maybe it's just... Maybe I just don't do these bits. What do you guys reckon about that? Oh, actually, against the retro future thing, that kind of works better, doesn't it? Or does it? Should it be silver? I don't feel like it should be silver. Alright. /pole antenna dish paint silver retro future clean or regular. I wish I'd had the I wish I'd been using the polls in these assertive streams in the past. Well, it seems most people want the shiny of the retro future. So this is currently silver. This is retro future, which is shinier. This is clean. Like, I think clean looks more regular modern day. And then there's regular, which has a few scratches on it. Yeah, shiny. Honestly, Ute Suit got very mixed feelings towards a Starbase release. Yeah, the shiny always looks a bit dark. It's something to do with Space Engineer's renderer, the way it works. Shiny stuff always looks really dark. When they used to have the construction states of blocks be super shiny, they always looked really dark and you could barely see anything. So retro future, that's it in fairly light. If we go to white, it still looks about the same. And that's, yeah, that's white. That's as light as it goes. You can go colored shiny, but I think we can all agree that that looks more like a Capac build than a Splitsy build. And then if I was to go, say, darker grey, I feel like that's not reflective enough for something that should be a collector. Sci-fi on this looks exactly like the regular. There's no special decal for sci-fi. I do, however, like that sci-fi has some differences for armor blocks. So you can add a bit of detail around the place by doing things like this. Or even better, you can do it in the same color as all the rest of the blocks. And it just adds those extra little details. And I've done that in a few builds. Same with the retro future, because some of those look like vents, which can be a nice little way to take advantage of the different textures. Oops. Yeah, Eisen. Sci-fi is legally distinct from and totally not the Star Wars texture. Yeah, I think retro future blue would be a bit much. Same with neon colorable. Actually, oh. Interesting. Interesting. I quite like what they've done with that. I'll have to remember that one for the future. Yeah, I'm not okay with blue. Oh, right. Oh no, that's black. Nope. Nope. Oh, I think that looks alright. It's a bit different. I haven't really done much with the concrete on these things, have I? I think it's because it often looks funny inside. That does add some extra detail though, in this instance. Whoops. I'll fix that when I come around. I feel like there's too much shiny on the dish. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's less sore thumbish. The dish is white. So the dish is as light as it can be being shiny. And you guys voted for shiny. I did quite like this one though. The neon colorable on the light because of the emissives on the back. Alright, let's do the vote again. Clearly people weren't happy with the options. Alright. Now that you've seen, what do you want? Shiny, retro, shiny, silver. Actually, shiny silver was barely voted for. Neon, white, lights. Those two seem to be the only popular ones. Let's go with that, and we'll do it 2 minutes, starting now. Alright, want to see this at night? Let's see this at night. Whoa. That's a convincing vote. It seems I found the better design. Just took some playing around. Uh-huh. Well, I guess for now I'm going to be leaving it, unless there's a drastic change in that vote in the next 30 seconds. You want me to write Mr. Radar on here? Let's put it on this one. Do. Top right? Or is that bottom right? No, it's top right. Yes, I have read the keyboard on this Sarek. That reads across. Mr. Radar. I lost the bleeps. I lost the sweeps. And I lost the creeps. What? I haven't seen Spaceballs in about a decade. Okay, Spaceballs watch stream. Alright. Shadow, you don't spawn the AI control block. It's just a regular remote control block that gets replaced by the mod when the base spawns. So this remote control block gets replaced. There we go. Hopefully, given that the batteries start full, this hydrogen engine should last for a fair bit of time, so this won't need to have any sort of wind turbine or anything on it. But I do wonder whether I should fill this more than 40%. Fill it to the brim. Yeah, I might do that. Need no 2H2 gen. There we are. I want to keep it as simple as possible, Consty. It would be cool to move the antenna, but if it starts going wrong and then you've got extra timers running, if you end up with a bunch of these bases spawning, and I don't think you'll spend that long looking at this to notice that sort of nuance. So I think it's probably best just not having it. Right. Still want to think about whether I can put the ASRT on this. There's not enough space there because I put the light down. Oh well, it's a smallish base, it doesn't need to have it. Speaking of turrets though, Ragnarok, even though, yes, it would be... It certainly would have some amusement factor to link the turret, link the thing up to a turret so it tracked the player. Let's get some turrets on this bad boy. That should cover most approaches with a small amount of small arms fire. Because this one's not going to have much of its own defense. What it's going to do is call in a whole lot of drones onto you. Yeah, Demos. Would I look at it and notice? Yeah, I would. I'd go, that's cool. Blammo! Oh, and Demos, you missed the chance of using the Blammo emote. I got Blammo emotes. See? Blam. Mo. Like so. I was clearly in an interesting headspace when I did those. Whoa! Holy moly! Thank you so much, Anonymous Gifter, for the 50 tier 2 subs. Whoa! Wow. Thank you. Now... Anyone else think I need to have any more defenses? I think it's pretty good. Yeah, hopefully that is either very generous or a nightmarish misclick going to tier 2 instead of tier 1. The hydrogen tank would go blammo if you're playing with the explosive hydrogen tank mod, which is kind of the fun of putting it here. I'll be honest with you, I did that deliberately. Leodala putting in the backwards blammo. The turret on the tank's a bit odd, you reckon? That's fair. I wasn't really sure where else to put it though. Could just put it on the wall like I put the others. The other option I have actually, let's try this out. Because then if I want to add more, I can add them in there and there. But just because I like to do this, I'm also going to do this. And pop one on here. Which is not going to be in concrete, because that's weird. There we go. Yes, this will leave a gap in coverage. So if you were to get in really, really quickly and not faceplant into the wall, you could get to here. But that's half the fun. Yeah, easy base. Just put 50 turrets on it. What would this look like with... Actually, where are those? They're like interior wall things, aren't they? Oh, they don't stick like that. I'd have to do that and then that around it. Nah. I'll leave it open. And yeah, the assertive structures, the assertive cargo ships, I intentionally leave them with vulnerabilities. The idea is that I have so many of them that hopefully it takes a bit of work to learn them, to figure out their vulnerabilities and then remember all of the different ones. Yeah, Skypion, exactly. The fun is trying to fly at Mach 15 into a blind spot without becoming paint on the wall. It is a lot of turrets, but if you look, from any direction, you're at most faced with 2. And if you were careful, you could come in from this angle and you'd only be faced with 1. Oh, you're faced with 3 maybe from here, but that's not too bad, because it is a heftier base. Oh no, the ones on the blue blocks are intentionally blue. It's just the one that's on grey blocks are grey. Yeah, the ladybugs. I might have made them escape a little too effectively. I'm still working on that. And now to arm them all. Do 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 do. But yeah, I do intentionally make these mods have a way to deal with them. Because I don't want the only way to deal with them to be completely annihilate and obliterate them, because then you don't get to find the fun little things in them. Which reminds me, I have a crate around here somewhere with some stuff in it that I should put in here. There we are. Oh, actually, I've got some on me. Right, let's have a look. What do we got? Oh. Laszlo's can go in the bed. Someone can be reading the Book of Tahan. Oh yeah, Graz, what's your thought about loot relating to the thrusters? Um, Dracu, I like the concept of variable ranged weaponry on bases. The trouble is, the reality of any turret set to short range in Space Engineers is that the player will snipe it because you have the ability to outrange them, and every single player will. So as soon as you allow that, it's kind of it gives the player something that I don't necessarily want to give them, which is unfortunate. Um, it's just one of those things you have to. I wish I could use, but I just can't. What could I put in here? I know. There we go. Yes, Graz, there is something like that. I have not looked into the random spawning of different data pads that Lucas has set up. But for me, I've actually picked... So, for some of these bases, having random ones wouldn't work, and I'd have to sort out which ones work in which random situations and all that sort of stuff. So, I'd... yeah, it's not something I can do at the moment. Oh, yeah. Good thought, Ragnarok. Do. Radio communication components. In the lockers. Something I wish I could do with these bases was have a data pad in them that gives you a GPS location of another base that's already spawned. Like, this I don't think is ever going to be possible, but imagine the situation where a base spawns and it triggers another spawn. As soon as that other spawn has found a location for it, a data pad is created in the original base that gives the location of the other one, sending you to like a hidden cache or something like that that's minimally defended, but only once you take over the big one. But that was the sort of thing I hoped Keen were doing with the economy stuff, but they didn't really flesh out the mission system as much as I hoped they would. And someone left. Wait, does this even spawn into here? I don't think it can. No. Info. Here's a research. Number. 17. I deliberately do the number thing because then I can create iterative versions with different numbers, and it just makes it easier for me to come up with different names. No, T. Lewis, I can't really add missions to it. That's what the concept of adding the slightly better thrusters kind of does. It gives you an open plan sort of mission, which is I want to make my ship with the best thrusters I can, so I'm going to go and take on every single assert thing that I can find and try and get my hands on as many of them as I can. Grozob's idea. My idea was being able to pick up small thrusters and store them in your inventory, and when you place them and weld them a bit, it swaps them for the correct block one. Would allow you to put the small grid assert thrusters as loot on the bases without letting them be conventionally buildable, placeable. Oh yeah. I mean, the other option, Groz, for the small thrusters would be, since on a base it's probably okay to have a single subgrid, I just put a rotor down and put down a little platform with thrusters on it that looks like a pallet. Similar to the ones in the thruster, like the atmospheric thruster research base in Escape from Mars. Yeah, Reveille, I wish I could do something like a big Easter egg hunt, and you've got to find the info in the right data pads and put it all together, and when you put it all together, you can then spawn a boss encounter that has something special to it. I do have a drone repair bay. That is a good point, Eisen. This one, this building, I could put one of those little thruster things in. So it wouldn't necessarily even need to be scripted. But if Groz did figure out that scripting, that would be epic. But I also think that's a big ask. Oh no, Crowell, I did not do Escape from Mars. That was Duckroll, who made the original scenario. And then Wickerell is the person responsible for updating it and making it functional with modern space engineers. So those two guys are legends for doing that, because it is still hands down the best scenario by far in Space Engineers. No other scenario comes close yet. That's very offset from the rest of them, isn't it? Yeah, Vash, I also find the scavenging and merge blocking stuff together fun. And that's why this idea of having the thrusters in the game is something that really appeals to me. Because it will encourage people to play that game style where you engineer stuff. I mean, even if they go as simple as building a little lifter that's just a thruster ball with a landing gear on it, that's still something they wouldn't have done otherwise. So it's a nice way of doing things. Alrighty, that's one base complete. I just need to change the antenna name. Yeah. Anyone think of anything I've missed on this? It's got a name. It's got a remote control block. It's got an antenna. It's got ammo in the guns. The guns are set to the appropriate range. The hinge is unlocked. I don't think I can work the signage on without changing up this wall too much, and I think I'm happier having the wall as is. So I'll stick to the signage just being on the bigger facilities. Braking force on hinge. I kind of like the idea that it doesn't have it. Maybe I'll give it a little... no, I want it to bounce. I want it to bounce. Unfortunately, Tesla, no, you couldn't really use threat level score to spawn a specific base because you'd have to get your threat score in a very specific range to get a very specific base, and I think that'd be more frustrating than fun. What? Since when do I have PCU limit in this save? Ugh. Let's try that again. I think I put ammo in the turret by the door. I'll check all the ammo in a second. Oh. Yeah, I thought I did them all, but I'll just check them in the inventory screen anyway. Turret. Bam. All done. All good. Although this is the one I'm going to export, so let's just check it. Yep. We are good. And because people were curious, this is what will happen when it loses power. That is very unsatisfying. I was really hoping for more. That was so anticlimactic. Oh. Wow. Wow. Oh, I definitely have subgrid damage turned off. Always have subgrid damage turned off. Could you script the dish hinge to disconnect? Ooh. I like that idea, Tech. Because I don't even need to script it, I just put a sensor in there. If you walk inside the base, the dish on top will just pop off. If it still has power if you get there. I don't think so, Hamster Stone. That I don't think there's a way to turn down the disconnect limit such that it would. Let's test though, because that is intriguing. Let's have a look. Hinge. Safety detached, 10 centimeters. No braking torque. And blam. Oops. Hang on. No. The safety detach isn't going to work. The other trouble is, I'm not sure how often you'd actually get to the point where you would trigger a sensor to pop it off, because you'd probably have killed the power by then. Hold up. I wonder if Final Event's still around, because I'm suspicious there'd be a way to do this using Rival AI. I think there might be a way to do that. That's something to investigate later. Let's get this integrated into the mod so you guys can actually have this in-game after the stream. Yeah, there we go. Rival AI actions can trigger timer blocks. Exactly. So I could have a trigger of being disarmed or a trigger of something that allows the antenna to pop off. F11, export clipboard to file. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong name. What am I doing? NPC AI, I think I've got as my names, yeah. Oh, you want to see what'll happen if it pops off? All right, I'll show you guys in a sec. That's fair enough. Should have done that. And detach. Well, that's not exciting at all. What if it did that? So what I could do, if I have a timer set up properly, is let's set the upper limit to 35 degrees. And then we have our velocity at 30. And so the thing could be triggered to do one timer and then detach. Except I didn't manage to trigger it quickly enough that time. Whoa! Oh dear. It scared me too, Skype. I was expecting it. Oh man. That's called failing upward. Good job, Splits. Good job. Alright, so that is something we can do. Yeah, I'm Fluffy Dave. I'm wearing headphones too. Oh. Okay. Let's copy this. F11. Export clipboard to file. Alrighty. Now. Data. Where are we at? Prefabs. I need to open up another one. Base engineers. Export. Atmospheric bases. This one I think I'm going to class as a medium. But, ooh, I've already got a 17. I'm going to have to change that. I'm not going to be okay with that. Export. Then we go there. Then we get our spawn thingy up. And we got a medium, so let's grab this one. Copy it. And then put the name in. Whoop. The bases are very much not sequentially numbered because bases of the same type are sequentially numbered. So observation outpost 23, 22, 77, 76, 44, 43, 42, 41, that sort of thing. Okay. So the other thing I'm going to need to change is I'm going to have to create a new behavior type for these less aggressive research bases, which means I want base Atmo easy. I'm going to call that Atmo easy research. That's not how you spell research. There's an R in there. And I imagine this font is really tiny for you guys. Then we have a medium research as well. I feel like I've missed something in chat because I don't remember seeing any of the... is it wrong that I want a missile shaped like a Capac decoy? No. I would love to launch Capacs at the enemy. One of the future large research bases should be raised over a docking platform. Maybe. You should have some of those data pads talking about how good and full of resources the bases you don't have numbers for are. Yes. That's a great suggestion, Daedalus. No, my account, by less aggressive, I mean they don't have a proximity spawner. All they'll have is if you shoot them, they rain hell down upon you. But otherwise, they'll be mostly passive, as long as you stay outside gun range. Which I quite like the concept of. So let's open up easy research and medium research. And now I need to go Control F. Replace base Atmo medium with base Atmo medium research. Replace, 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 replace. do I want the war and peace on the passive ones? No. Oh, this will be kind of interesting because this will create a little bit of extra variability in these bases. What I have the desire to do in the future is make it so the bases can call in additional drone strikes from other nearby bases. And if these passive ones don't normally fight but will fight to protect others, but will also call in help from anyone nearby, that will up the challenge. Oh, I need to create a whole new trigger. Do I not have a damage trigger for the bases? Oh. Well, that's interesting. I think I've got it called Detroit. I didn't realize that. I should have a damage trigger. Why don't I have a damage trigger? It's a bit lame. Can you have a trigger that only reacts to a cat pack? You know what? Probably. Send out a message. Yeah, something like that, Titulus. Something where it sends out a "you're done for" trigger. Alright. We're getting rid of the trigger procs. Leave that trigger procs. Leave that action procs. Leave that chat. Leave that spawner. Now we get rid of this. So I don't need the war bits. Oh, maybe I should leave the enemy one. Because the enemy one's for when they don't like you. Yeah, I should leave the enemy. Dang it. Get rid of war, but we'll leave enemy, and I'll change this one to damage. Damage. Let's fix that up. Damage, trigger type. We'll change that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've got it somewhere in here. Where's my damage? Procs defense. Trigger escape, is it? Yeah, type damage. So I grab that. I put that in as my new trigger. And there we go. We now have a damage trigger, and that's going to be action damage. And then our damage action, we'll use chat broadcast, chat damage, and then damage spawner. I did have grinder in there, didn't I? Oh. Wait. Is grinder a separate one? Oh yeah, because yes, grinder is a separate one, and I didn't have it included in there for a reason, which is these have a separate trigger for grinders. Where is it? Yeah, there's a separate grinder trigger for the cargo ships, which doesn't make sense for these, so I should put grind in there. There we go. So, now this is the thing that's going to be nastier. You'll have between 1 and 2 minutes to handle the drones before the next ones get called in. That's still fine. Chat damage. Damage spawner. Oh yeah, Dracua, I like that one. Let's use that for the chat instead. Alert! We are under attack by an unknown hostile. To all nearby patrols, send drone support immediately. There is a weather trigger, Reveille. You can turn on different weather types using MES, which is really cool. So yes, I imagine it would be kind of fun to have a boss base that, as soon as you start attacking it, triggers fog. Dense fog. Yeah, weather control experiment base. Alright, I'm going to leave the prox enemy one because your player reputation has to be pretty bad to get to that point. And if you're at that point, you're clearly fighting the bases, so all of them will be on high alert. Action prox enemy. Then I'm going to have to get my patrons to record more voice stuff once I get these sorted out. Eisen, not sure whether there are other region restricted things. I don't tend to have as much time to watch stuff as I used to, or as Capac manages to find, but yeah, I just kind of watch what I've got access to, and I watch more YouTube than I used to these days. Thank you, Tom Scott. And of course, the cooking channels that I watch. That looks right to me. So let's test. Load game. Rival AI test. The Expanse is available for people in Oz. I watched the first season and a half, and I know this will upset a few people. I kind of lost interest. Alright. Let's check to see whether it's an eligible spawn, which it won't be because I need to up my threat score and I've already forgotten the command, so F10, Roach. Let's try that again. Okay, we have our research. It is an eligible spawn. That's a good start. Spawn planetary installation. Dot that. It has spawned, and I don't know where. Where are you at? I want to approach it from distance because I don't want to start close. Okay, that's good. What's my standing with them? Economy. Change reputation. Wait. Okay, factions. Assert. My reputation is minus 1007. Okay, cool. So I should not trigger the spawning of any drones until I do damage to this thing. Now I'm not targetable by turrets, so the turrets won't try and shoot me. But when I do this, it should. There we go. Incoming Hornet. Let's wait a little bit. Once it arrives, I might try grinding this again, or I'll use the drill this time and see what happens. If you hit it hard enough, does it register as damage? I don't think so. Okay, let's try again. See if we can get this to trigger another spawn. Whoa, 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 whoa! That's right, the Hornets are nasty little drones. Especially now that they've got ultra thrusters. Wait, is its turret not working? Huh. It is wrecking this place. Oh yeah, good point, Ragnarok, thank you. I'm untargetable by turrets, that's why the turret isn't working on the drone. Surely it's been more than 2 minutes by now. Oh, no, there is another Hornet up there. It's just because the antenna's dead, I don't get the broadcast of the transmission. We have multiple Hornets. Ah.
Fuel critical.
Cool. Alright, the other thing I want to do today, because that seems to be working well enough for my liking, is go to spawn groups, cargo ships, Atmo, and where is the drones? Spawn groups, drones, Atmo. Here we go. I want to add this to all of the cargo ships. So all of the cargo ships are going to get a thruster upgrade, which means fewer crashes, more player death. Hopefully. I don't think I need to. I don't think I'm going to make them quite as ridiculous as the drones are. Let's make this 1.5 and 0.75. I'm going to add that to all of the cargo ships. Yeah, I suppose I could put in a proximity chat message thing with the bases to warn you that if you attack, they will defend themselves. That would be quite valid, I think. And then at some point, I'm going to have to adjust the frequency of the different spawns so that they're a bit more balanced, so that you don't get heaps of certain types and not so many of others. There are lots of little bits like that I just haven't quite got to a point where I'm happy with them yet. That's true, Demos. The higher powered thrusters do get them to max speed faster, but what this will allow the cargo ships to do is I've tested them all so that they work, so I know what their max gravity is. So they're still not going to work in gravity higher than you'd be able to fly them. But while they're controlled by the AI, they will have the ability to hopefully cope with flying over a mountain. The other thing I've done is this tag should reduce the number of components in some blocks so you don't get as much scrap, because I'm a jerk like that. Which should be kind of nice to reduce the amount of scrap you get from everything. Okay, let's check if the mod works. And if it does, I'm going to upload it. Yes, Eisen. This is where I break the mod, because I'm trying to concentrate on talking while also concentrate on reading and ensuring I'm not messing up text. This is true.
Fuel critical.
Okay, let's check the eligible spawns. Make sure they're fine. Yep, that looks identical. And now, /mes dot spawn planetary cargo ship. Alright, we have a slippery beetle up there. Ah, yes. RimWorld and never going on sale. I don't think it has ever been on sale. There we go. Pendragon, I don't think the AI drones will ever go down. Oh, an open door. Cheeky. That probably shouldn't be like that. There we go. Got all the drones coming in. I'm gonna shoot down everyone to get at you. But yeah, this thing seems to be keeping up. Let's have a look at what these blocks have in them. Still got everything. But now they say NPC Atmo Thruster. So these will work as normal thrusters, I believe, if you put them on your own grid. But while they're controlled by an NPC, they will have extra power and extra efficiency. Well, Ragnarok, they're not assertive drones for nothing. They will make sure they get their target no matter what. Yeah, Galadas, I've been hesitant for a while to make the AI cheat, but I think it's worth it for the ability for the drone, like for these not to be crashing on your terrain everywhere and causing problems that way. Whoa! Holy moly, look at the number of drones that just spawned. Okay, that wasn't intentional. But I like it. Oh dear. Oh! Oh! Is it gonna crash? Oh! It tried valiantly, but it lost its rear thrusters. The voices in this are a variety of my patrons who kindly supplied their voice for the mod. Well, I finally have done another ACS stream. As Eisen has been wanting me to do for quite some time. I'm very glad to be back updating this mod and getting it working properly again. And I will publish this now, I think. Because that seems to be working alright. And then you guys will have it. And have some nasty stuff that attacks you. Hopefully. And doesn't die. Mods. No, Pendragon, there's no way to control the number of drones. You can only control the number of cargo ships with the spawn settings. All right, time for me to break everyone's games. Codon, the ship will spawn new drones until you get rid of the remote control block. It is not the antenna anymore. You need to get rid of the remote control block. Yeah, I'll just leave that. It's all good. So, thanks for coming along, everybody. I'm going to spend my afternoon editing Grand Tour, I think. And Capac and I will be back tomorrow morning, most likely with some Valheim. I'm hoping we can do our little two-player co-op one, because I'd like to progress through the stuff myself rather than jumping into someone else's game and being miles behind. But yeah, Capac and I'll be back tomorrow. Capac will be back tonight as well for his Cocktails with Capac stream. So there's all that and plenty more to come. And I will see you then. Have a great day, everyone.